Hey guys, Sri Lanka Sammy, Taiwan Sammy, King of Gangnam, Gangnam Sammy. God, I gotta figure out a new name. I really gotta figure out a new name. I'm on a walkabout today in Sri Lanka. Yeah, I'm retired in Sri Lanka. After 13 years of working in Korea, I've retired. I'm now like a month in to living here. So I thought I'd do a little video. And I'm going to get into some videos that are going to be controversial because I no longer live in Korea. So I don't have to worry about libel, slander, or any kind of negative portrayal of Korea. Although I don't really have that many, there are some bad things about Korea which I can now feel more comfortable in talking about openly. And I hope people can get a little bit of insight into what really is going on over here, over there. So today I'm going to talk about what could I do if I wanted to work illegally in Korea as a teacher. Now, I haven't done this. This was told to me by someone who I knew secondhand, and also from me knowing the system. I know how the system works. So when you know the system and you've been in the system for as long as I have, 13 years, you figure out the loopholes. So here's the first thing, all right? First thing is, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. If you get caught working illegally in Korea, what will happen to you is this. You'll be arrested. You'll be detained at the police station. Your passport will be taken away from you if you have it, or they will go to your home and collect your passport. You'll be detained. There will be an immigration hold on you. You will not be allowed to leave the country. That's why they take your passport. They don't really need it. They get your ID. Until they ID you, you're not leaving. Until they ID you, when they do, they put an immigration hold on you. The second thing is you're put in a detention center at Incheon. And within 3 to 4 days, you are meeting with a magistrate or judge, an immigration judge, and you plead your case. If you can afford a lawyer, you'll get a lawyer. And eventually you will be deported. So within 24 hours, the next flight to your home country, your home country closest airport that they decide, you'll be flown out in the arms of immigration police, handcuffed right up until the plane. Your apartment, your bank account, your possessions, gone. You got nothing. So you'll lose all that. I'm gonna stand in the shade for a little bit. It is hot. It is only 10 o'clock in the morning and it is 30 degrees and hot and sunny and beautiful. Just look at that. Hopefully this will come through. Yeah, look at that. Just beautiful. Oh, love it. Anyway, deportation, and then you are banned from entry into South Korea for 5 years, 5 years or something like that. And then if there's a fine that you have to pay that fine. You will not be released from detention until you pay the fine or serve the time. So like, let's say if the fine is 2 million won, you have 2 million won to pay, or 2 years. 2 years in detention. And when you finish detention, you're gone. And you cannot come back for 3-5 years. I'm not sure. So don't do it, number one. Number two, if you do wish to do it, here are the loopholes. Number one is don't use your own bank account. don't use your own bank account. Get a friend's bank account. Now, you can't open up a fake bank account, okay? But you can use a friend's bank account. And how do you justify that? Well, you say to your boss, oh, it's my girlfriend's account or my wife's account just so I don't pay taxes because I earn too much money. Something like that. Bosses don't care. They just need to deposit it into a bank account. All right? Now, let me take a step back. The job you get that would probably let you do that, obviously you can't work for a public school. You can't work for a university or a government job. You can work for a recruiter because it's the recruiter that pays you. Okay? You can work for a small private hagwon that operates outside of Seoul. Those are the ones that are generally more desperate for teachers and will kind of skirt the rules to get a teacher. Then, yeah, don't use your bank account. I'm going to talk next video about how to write a resume. Don't put too much information on your resume. Use a fake resume. Like when I mean fake, just put, your name. Use a fake last name. When I was a telemarketer 30 years ago, it didn't matter our name. Just your first name. So like my last name starts with a P, but I use Sam Sinclair. Sounded Canadian. Sounded really good. And was easy to say, Sam Sinclair. Everybody in the office knew that that was my telephone name. I was a telemarketer. So hi, it's Sam Sinclair. So use that name in your resume. They're not checking. Because if they do ask, you say, oh, I don't have access to that. And then don't apply. They're not going to follow up. Don't give your address. Nobody needs to know that you live in apartment 103. Nobody cares. Just put your city and your subway station and your hours of availability. Nobody cares, okay? Recruiters aren't going to check your address. They don't care. And if you're using your friend's bank account number, they're not going to care. Ask for cash. Again, if you're working for a recruiter, very easy to ask. If you're working for a small hagwon, you kind of like, listen, is there an opportunity where we could do something a little bit different because of my banking situation? You don't need to go into details, right? Again, if the boss is desperate, they will look the other way. Let me check my notes here. Just give me a second. Sorry. Yeah. So when you set up your phone, use try to get a friend to help you set it up. Okay, that it's not under your name. That way, they can't track you. There's no reason if you're working illegally to have a phone number under your name because you're not able to access real name ID applications in Korea. Yeah, so those are some of the loopholes in how you could technically work illegally in Korea and earn money as a teacher, right? You can work as a farmer, or a fisherman, or a factory worker. That happens all the time. It happens in every country in the world. Every modern country in the world, illegal workers in labor jobs. But this is more about a teacher job. Wow, it's hot. You can see I'm sweating. Whew. Anyway, now the next question will be, why would anybody want to do this? Well, there's several reasons. They don't have a degree. They don't have the right visa. And when I say the right visa is either they have a criminal background, which precludes them from teaching. And when I mean criminal, I don't mean child or sexual criminal background, just like a simple criminal background, like theft or something like that. and or they're not from one of the 7 countries. I gotta stop and stand in the shade. It is hot. So, shade, there we go. They're not from one of the 7 countries. So that would preclude them from getting a visa. So the big ones are, you don't have a degree, you don't have the nationality. So I have seen it. When I work in Seoul, it's pretty well all Western teachers, 90%, 99% Western teachers legal. You go outside of Seoul, to the smaller towns outside of Seoul, and I'm not talking far, I'm talking Songpa, Bundang, Paju, Goyang, Guri, Nowon, Songdo, things like that, and you find teachers from countries that you're like, do you have a right visa? You're asking yourself, and you can see it. You can see it. And parents know, but today's world, they have no choice. So hopefully you don't have to do that, okay? But those are the loopholes. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. It's not worth it. Itaewon Sammy, King of Gangnam, Gangnam Sammy, Sri Lanka Sammy, wishing you guys the best, safest time out there. Be careful. Love you all. See you soon.